Hey, so I know what you might be thinking. You are like, who is this guy? Why should I listen to him? And why should I take this course and join this community? Well, first of all, you've never heard about me because I'm not a guru. So I don't have my face out there telling people how they should do things and what they should do. So I'm going to promise you one thing. In this video, I'm going to cover the following point. I'm going to tell you why it matters to build a SaaS right now. I'm going to share a life-changing free SaaS tip, and I'm going to tell you who I am and what you'll get from this community. All right. So SaaS has changed. It's much easier and faster to build SaaS today. And the reason for that is because there are different stages of building SaaS startup. You have ideation, validation, prototyping, iteration, and growth. And usually those stages usually takes a long time to build. It can take months or sometimes years to get it right. And most startups fail because they don't move fast enough across those different stages. So they either run out of cash or they run out of resources, which can be time, investment, motivation, and people. And when you run out of cash, usually you can't continue doing your startup. So this is why you die. So what has changed today is that it's 10 times faster to build SaaS today. It's 10 times faster to do prototyping, 10 times faster to launch your startup, 10 times faster to iterate your startup and achieve product market fit. So before, it was taking months to go from ideation, validation, all the way to growth. But now you can literally do that in days. And this is what I've done with my startup Hour and Code, which is an edu platform that teaches people how to learn how to code. And I built that in just 2 weeks. And even more recently, I built my new startup Git Glance in just 10 days, from ideation to launching the application and being live and having customer. So one idea has changed. And then so now I want to share with you one very helpful idea that I've discovered that has made a world of a difference in how I decide what startup to choose, what to work on. And honestly, that has helped me deliver much more value faster and also essentially get customer faster. And this is understanding the difference between DFY, DWY, and DIY, which stand for done for you, done with you, and do it yourself. So there are different type of startups. You can do a startup that essentially walk you along the way and show you how to do things. You can have a startup that literally do something for you. For example, a startup that does translation. It's a tool. So any startup that are a tool are like way faster because they do something for you. Or you can have a startup that do something with you. They provide you a tool to do something, let's say to do some research, and you use those tools in order to achieve your goal. So understanding the key difference between these things is crucial because done for you idea move really, really fast. So actually, let's start from the bottom. When you do it yourself, when you have idea that are do it yourself, it's much slower to get customer. For example, you have a course platform, even though you have the tool people can learn how to code, at the end of the day, they have to decide to take those courses in order to use your app. So it's do it yourself. So they decide when they want to take those courses and then they do it. So you have to convince them along the way. So it's very, very slow to acquire a customer with such startups. Then you have done with you startup, where you provide a tool that allow people to do certain things. For example, you can think of app that allow you to edit videos. For example, you make the video yourself, but then you use those tools in order to make the video happen. Or like other tools that just like simplify processes or help you do things faster. And these startups tend to move faster than do-it-yourself startup because people have something that they need to get done and they use a tool to do it with it. And then you have startups that are done for you, which are way, way, way faster. Think of it, for example, like startup where you can just upload an image and let's say, for example, it convert into AI. Those startups are like extremely fast because people need those tools. They need it today. So they go on the website and then they just upload the picture and get the result right away. So the startup where you can go from having something that you want, like an input, to having an output that you want, are way, way, way faster than startup that are where the customer essentially need to decide if they want to do the things on their own, and then they do the whole things alone once they have the tool available. So having a good understanding of this is very crucial. And then nowadays I tend to gravitate more toward ideas that are done for you because they're way, way, way faster to execute and then to get people to join them. So like I was saying, so you can have an AI app. Like for example, Peter Level has this app that where you upload your picture and then it just, do the photo shoot for you. Those are like done for you idea because it's super straightforward. You know exactly what it is. It's a three-step process. You upload your image, you pay, and then you get the result. So I love this kind of ideas. Those are like the best one that I recommend. So my platform, How We're in Code, is actually a do-it-yourself idea. I've created a platform that creates a lot of courses for people, and it's a very efficient behind the scenes. I'm not gonna get into details about it right now, but like it uses AIs behind the scene. But once I've made those courses, even if I make like 110,000 of courses or whatever, it's up to those people to decide to take those courses. So I can bring them to the site and tell them all how amazing the courses are, show them what's available out there. But until they take those courses, they might just not use the software. So it's much more challenging because I need this. Technically, the marketing cycle of it is much longer because you need to convince them to take the course. You get in front of them, then you like try to nurture it so that they're interested into taking the courses. And when they finally decide to take the courses, then they can get the value out of your tool. But that can take a very long time. So my newer startup, GitGlance, is actually a done with you idea. This tool allows you to use AI to research GitHub and find ideas, opportunities, pen and anger, and so on and so on. So this tool provides a service that makes it easier for you to do your research. So you know what you need to do. So you use the tool in order to do the research, and it provides you the value. So this is faster, and you can get customer faster this way because you can identify people that need this solution, and then they can use a tool to do that. But then my newer startup, Dubber, which is an app that allows people to dub video from English to any other languages, or like from Japanese to Spanish or whatever, that's a done for you idea because people have something that they need to do, and it can be literally a three-step process. So they have a video that they want to convert, they upload the video, I convert it, and that's it. And I think in the middle they pay, obviously. So they upload the video, pay, and then they get the output that they want. Those are extremely fast to execute, and those are the ideas that I usually recommend people in the community to focus on because they can achieve their goal of generating $10,000 per month much, much faster with an idea that is done for you. And in today's time, with AI that make it 10 times faster to execute on those ideas are like some of the best that you can do. And this is why you see a lot of AI wrapper out there, where people essentially provide you a service, wrap it around AI, and just give you the result. All right. So I'm not a guru. So, I'm not going to tell you this is how you should do it. I'm not sharing as an authority. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not distant, and then I'm not exclusive, right? So I'm more like a guide. So I show you how I do it, and I share what I'm learning along the way, and I'm doing it with you. So all those startups that you saw out there, I'm building it right now. I'm sharing what I'm learning along the way, and I'm telling you exactly the mistake that I've made and what has worked for me. And then if you want to copy those playbook, it's up to you. It's accessible, and then I'm very approachable. So you can reach out to me on Twitter, in the community, ask me any question, and I'll just answer. But who am I, right? I mean, this is what you guys probably wondering before even taking the leap to join the community. So I am a senior full stack developer by trade. So I've been a developer for over 10 years, and I'm also a SaaS builder. So I love building SaaS. I've started very early, and I've done that for a lot of clients. And then also I'm a content creator. And I'm going to explain you why the content creator part matters. So that's because the way we build product today and how marketing works has changed. Now, if you want to get people to use a product, you need to engage that audience. And then the way you engage that audience is often done on social media by making video or content and so on. And you notice a lot of videos on YouTube of people saying that, marketing has changed. It's not like before, where you were just focusing on SEO and all that. Now you not only need to find your target audience, but you also need to engage them, right? And you engage them, bring your audience in, have a community, and then bring that community to use your product. And this is something that Greg Eisenberg really talked a lot about, his ACP framework. And I've took this graph from him. And so this is why the fact I'm a content creator kind of matter, because I know how to design, I know how to code, I know how to do marketing, I know how to do sales, and I know how to do content creation. And I've learned all of those pieces along the way, because as a solopreneur, you kind of need to have different roles. And then I wanted to find a way to get unstuck from all the obstacles that I was facing. So I tried to figure out how each of those different components work, right? And so I've built SaaS for enterprise. I've worked with Ticketmaster, where I help them with their platform universe. I've worked with FreshBoot, which was an accounting software. I've worked with Aura Solar, which is in the solar space. I've worked with No Fraud, Payment Chargeback, Contact Monkey, a Chrome plugin for email tracker. I was the team lead on the Soho Work project, which is an event booking service. So think about it like WeWork, but for the luxury market. I've worked on CityTV backend, which is a video streaming app. So think like Netflix for Canada. So I've worked on the backend for it. I've worked on Sportsnet, which is a sports. I like to call it the ESPN of Canada, but it's actually on the site. It was showing statistics, so I worked on the backend for it. And I work on Rogers Radio Player, which is an audio streaming platform, and more. You can see all of this on my portfolio. It's public if you guys are curious of the stuff that I've done. And I've also built my own SaaS. So some of the SaaS that I built are ZoneGood, which is a zoning and regulation software that I was working for the past 3 years. And I was able to achieve revenue with it. The cost per revenue was $500 per month per user. And yes, I worked on it for a couple of years. It's now closed. We had a very high churn, and then I've learned a lot while working on that project. And more recently, I started Hour and Code, Git Glance, and before that, I had started my startup Art2Go, which was in the event and art space. I had Checkup, which was a productivity software where I actually had pay customer, which were my direct customer for my web development agency. And I had Reader, which was a book recommendation platform that was generating revenue through affiliate marketing. And I was making not a lot of money with it, but around like $1,000 to $1,500 per year just through those affiliate clicks. And I built much more startups. So I've worked in the crypto space with astronauts, where I was running one of the biggest crypto guild, gaming guild in North America. And I had my Timelinks, which I joined Y Combinator Startup School with. And I had Residently, which I ended up selling my social handle, Jumpy Space Cat, which was a video game that you can play on your phone. And we had like a lot of players on the application. Work on Greenlight, which was featured on Financial Post. Triple, which was the first micro-polling social network. And we were featured in the Next Web publication when we started. This is a startup that I did in college. And yeah, and I've worked on more and more applications. So I've also made tons of contents on social media. So I have multiple YouTube channels. I have one for crypto, I have one for SaaS, and I have one for web development as well. So I am a content machine. I like to say that I love to just produce content as much as I can. I like to put things out there, and I believe that content is an investment of the future. This is why I always making sure to create content. And if you guys are curious about my take on that, you can watch this video called The Golden Age of Content Creation. And this is where I can explain why I'm really investing in content, because I really believe that content compound over time. And I love to invest in things that compound. But this experience from creating content allow me to understand what you actually need in order to engage your audience. I've also written a lot about SaaS. So I have multiple SaaS newsletter. I have one called Richardson on SaaS where I share essays about things that I've learned, mistakes I've done, and so on in about building SaaS application. I have one that I write weekly, which is App Blueprint Weekly, where I tell people that are non-technical how to build application, things that they need to learn, and I also share things that are coming, like things that I should be aware of when building application, any tips that I'm learning on the job, essentially. And I spend hours and hours and hours of reading books. It's businesses books, SaaS books, you name it. I spend countless hours of reading all of those books to try to figure out how to crack the code of building a successful online application. I've also taken a ton of courses. I've taken Neil Patel marketing course, the Augment MBA, where you have the founder of Waze, Wikipedia, Shazam, and so on and so on, just telling you essentially how to run a business and how to build a startup and so on. I've taken Alex Hormozy courses on sales and generating lead, making an offer. I've taken Ahrefs SEO courses, and I've also taken startup school since I was part of startup school through Y Combinator with my startup time links. So essentially, what you're getting from me in a nutshell is the fact that I've read hundreds of books, taking hundreds of courses, work on hundreds of apps, and spend way over 10,000 hours building SaaS application. And I've packaged all of this into one big course. And essentially, in my course, I'll be able to really break down every single steps that it takes to build a SaaS business. And I can walk you around every single one of those steps. And all of that is included in my SaaSpreneur Academy course, where I literally cover all of the steps for you, try to break it down, try to tell you exactly how I do each of those steps myself, what have worked for me, what haven't, and how to make that full cycle go way faster. So I literally walk you to the main stages of SaaS startups. So ideation, how to come up with a new idea, validation, how to validate your idea, how to figure out where demand is, how to find demand, how you do that using tools online in today, especially using AI. I also show you how to do prototyping. I do prototyping personally using Figma, and sometimes I do it on paper, but I'll show you exactly how I do it. I show you how to do iteration, which is one of the most important stage of startup, and where most startups actually fail, is where you have to technically learn from your audience, implement that, test what it works, learn and iterate until you achieve product market fit. And also I talk about growth, how to grow beyond that once you start generating revenue with the right target market. So in the community, you'll see that those different stages are breaking down into different courses. So you'll have the validation course, prototyping course, iteration, and there's also some extra content like master classes. I made a master class about SaaS pricing, because figuring out how to price based on value is very challenging. And this is something that I've banged my head against for a very long time, and I finally figured out how to do it. So I have an entire master class in the community about it, and more courses that you can access. And also, I will share my AOE framework, acquisition, onboarding, and expansion. This is a framework that I believe you can apply to almost every single SaaS, and it's very effective to actually figure out how to build a successful product quickly. I've seen it, I've seen how successful companies that do something similar have worked, and this is what I'm personally using when building my own SaaS today. And so I've written a couple articles about it that are available online for free. And in the community, I cover that even more in depth, and I can answer any of your questions. So what do you get when you join the community? So you get access to the SaaS tool directory that we have. So every time I find a new cool tool that you can use, I essentially just share it in the community, make sure that anyone has access, So any of the tools that I've used for my own SaaS are available in this directory. And also, people in the community, whenever they find a cool tool that they think that everyone should use, they also add it to the SaaS tool directory through me, and then I just create it and add all the tools that I'm finding, so that if you're looking for a tool to do analytics, you have it for your API, app development, for lead generation, and so on and so on. So I try to cover every single category that you may face when building your SaaS, into this tool directory. And this is by far one of the most successful and one of the most popular item in the community. And a lot of people really get engaged whenever we post about it. And almost every single one of those tools has an article in the community where I write a quick blog post about this tool, how to use it, why it's working, and so on. Also, so what are you getting from the community, right? So you are learning from someone who has built 100 plus apps, absorbed the wisdom of 100 plus books and courses, and distill years of trial and error into actionable strategies. And so that means that you'll learn from real world experience where you can leverage insight from someone who has failed, learned, and continue to improve. Because like I say, I'm doing this with you. I'm not saying that I've made like millions of dollars doing this. This is something that I'm doing right now, trying to figure out, cracking the code. And as I am learning, I'm sharing you all my finding live in the community, and I'm writing blog posts about it almost consistently. And also, it will allow you to cut years off the learning curve. I mean, it took me so many years to figure out how to do price based on value. It took me so many years to figure out how to cross the chasm. It took me so many years to figure out, how you actually do customer development the right way. I tried to read like hundreds of books, finding, I started thinking that maybe if I just read this book, then it will crack the code. But it just took years and years and cycle of trial and error in order to finally understand how you actually work. Also, you'll be part of a community of like-minded individuals. So people that will allow you to grow. You're growing with them as solopreneur, and they will also share your ambition because they're in the same shoes as you. They're also trying to make, their first app. They try to make it successful. They have questions that you may relate to or that you can even learn from. And you can also ask questions to the community and learn from them. And you'll be able to, save time and money because you'll be able to learn what works faster without having to redo the wheel, starting from scratch. You're starting from a point where someone like me are telling you, hey, look, I've tried this. This didn't work for me. This is what works. Here's my playbook. Feel free to copy it. Very transparent about it. And we've been getting some really good testimonial about the community. Chief Ali, as soon as he joined, say that this is by far the most valuable group he's found for growing a SaaS app business. And we have someone like Rebecca who say that the amount of resources already provided here were incredible. Those were resources that she had, but it took her years to build, and that made her kick herself. So essentially, we have so many courses and value in here, and from the matrices to the workflow that will just make it so much easier for you to literally figure out every single steps that are obstacle in your SaaS development journey. And we have someone like Abdullah that is really impressed by the amount of resource and knowledge that are available in the community. So one thing is, you can join the community now, or if you don't want to join the community, you have access to all of my courses on my Gumroad. You can literally go there and buy them one by one. And some of them, I believe I've made some of them free, like this SaaS validation workflow, so that people can get access to it. But you can literally go on my Gumroad and take different things that I've made out there and then buy it individually. But you can do that individually, or you can literally just get all of this as a bundle by just joining the community today and getting access to the SaaSpreneur Academy and have access to all the resources at once. So this is what this is about. I really hope that you guys join us, and then I'll be really happy to have you here. I hope this was informative and gave you enough context about what you'll get inside the community, who I am, and what's the value here for you. All right, thanks for watching, and then I'll see you in there.